I'm Rachel Levy at Fundfire. I'm here with Andrew Healy, a partner at Water and Wall Group. So Andrew, tell me, why do you think hedge funds are advertising now?
Well, I don't think it's so much hedge funds on the advertising front as it is just the recognition for having a brand and a reputation. It's driven by a lot of things, and I think a big driver right now is on part of the institutional investors that invest in their funds. A lot of these investors are starting to demand a lot more in terms of communication, transparency. So it goes beyond branding or speaking with the media or advertising as it is communicating with your investors, which you can then sort of craft your brand, build it up, and push it out to all audiences. So I think a lot of it is driven by the large investors, particularly on the public pension side. And I think other reasons for it, you're seeing a lot of hedge funds that started as historically a single manager with maybe a single fund that are evolving into multi-strategy firms with different audiences, different product lines, sort of evolving into full-service investment management firms. So they're expanding beyond their roots. They're launching into new audiences, new investors, and as a result, they need to sort of get their story out there, figure out what that story is, craft it effectively, and ultimately use it to raise awareness and bring in new assets.
How has the Jobs Act changed hedge funds' approach to marketing and advertising?
Well, when the Jobs Act first came to pass, there was a lot of attention focused on the advertising element and the scrutiny that they'd be under, and whether retail investors would be, they need to be protected. Our view, and it's sort of served out this way, is for the most part, hedge funds aren't advertising. So a few sort of dip their toes in the water to experiment a little bit, but you're not going to see commercials yet, you're not seeing billboards yet. But the simple fact that there's only a limited audience that hedge funds can sort of market to. They need to be accredited investors. So mass marketing strategies, mass advertising strategies aren't really effective there. But beyond that, the Jobs Act, before it passed, hedge funds were under a lot of scrutiny. They were really concerned about what they could say and not say, and so the default answer very often was to just not say anything. So I think one of the good benefits from the Jobs Act, not so much on the advertising front, is just hedge funds are now with the ability to tell a story, have a website. It doesn't need to have a million landing pages and different tabs, but they can now say who they are, what they do, what their strategy is, what their value add is. Don't talk about trades or anything. They need to, of course, play within the rules, but they at least now have the freedom to sort of speak about who they are and get that out there. And I think, particularly for emerging managers, funds that don't necessarily have a track record or have a deep relationships with investors, that's key, because these are folks that are just starting up and they're getting their name out. They need every sort of tool at their disposal. So it's just one thing that they need to do, but at the end of the day, it ultimately comes down to performance and what the funds are looking to deliver to investors. So that needs to be there more than anything.
Andrew, thank you so much for coming to speak with me. I really appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.